The Intel i7-13700 CPU is a 12-core processor that's designed for various tasks like gaming, streaming, and video editing. It operates at a base clock speed of 3.4 GHz, and it can boost up to 5.0 GHz with 24 threads for multitasking. In performance test, it really does shine with a Cinebench score of 20,553 and then a single core score of 1,933. In Blender, it renders the BMW benchmark in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Something that I really like about the 13th and 14th generation CPUs from Intel is that they really did focus on making the mid-range CPUs really good. The i3-13100 is the first time that I actually recommend an i3 to people for mid-range gaming PC builds. The Nvidia RTX 4070 Ti GPU is a top-tier graphics card that's ideal for gaming, video editing, streaming, and all of the other content creation aspects of owning a computer. This is definitely aimed at higher resolutions and higher frame rates. The RTX 4070 non-Ti version is also a great card for 1440p and 4K gaming, but the 4070 Ti is definitely going to give you a little bit of a bump when it comes into the 4K territory because it does pack 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, which is a little bit more than the 4070. It does support ray tracing and DLSS as well, alongside all of the other AI features that Nvidia has brought in with the 40 series cards. And it impresses with the 3D Mark times by extreme score of 12,567. In Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K with max settings and ray tracing turned on, it delivers an average of 65 FPS, while in Forza Horizon 5 at 4K and max settings, it achieves 105 FPS. The MSI B760 Tomahawk motherboard is a great mid-range motherboard that has the options you're going to need for a motherboard. Yes, I know I just said motherboard like 5 times there. It includes 4 DDR5 memory slots, as with most motherboards, has 2 PCIe x 16 slots, has 3 M.2 slots, offers Wi-Fi 6, and then it does have Bluetooth 5.1 capabilities. So the Peerless Assassin 120 watt CPU cooler, it cools the i7-13700 perfectly fine. I personally don't really care for the air coolers like this, but the person that I built this computer for, this is what they ended up wanting, so it's what I ended up using. The 2TB WD Black NVMe SSD is a great NVMe that I have used numerous times, and it does have a read speed of up to 7,000 megabytes per second, and then it has write speeds of up to 5,000 megabytes. So the P122 PWM PST fans they're not like necessarily the quietest fans that I have ever used, but they do offer good airflow for keeping your PC nice and cool and all of that kind of stuff. But they're definitely not like the quietest fans that I've ever used. However, with that said, that's not necessarily a negative thing. They're not like loud either, but if I didn't say that they weren't the quietest fans I've ever used, that would be a lie. So I'm not going to tell you that they're like the quietest fans I've ever used. So the 32 gigabytes of Ripjaw S5 DDR5 RAM that is running at 5600 megahertz and a CAS latency of 36. This is going to make your system perform and be well equipped for gaming and resource intensive applications. But I do want to make a really quick note here that this is actually the first time that I have used this memory. Most of the time when I'm building computers, I end up getting the Team Group GeForce RAM, just for reasons I doubt I need to explain. So as far as the Thermaltake case, again, personal preference here. I don't really like this. It has like an office type vibe going on, but the person I built this for, there you go. That's what they wanted it for. It's for an office. It's for an actual like company business. So they don't want like a bunch of like flashy lights all over the place. Let me go over some benchmarks here really quickly with you guys. So in Cinebench R23, the multi-core score was 20,553. The single core score was 1,933. As far as the Blender benchmark, this was a render time of 2 minutes and 48 seconds. 3D Mark times by Extreme got a score of 12,567. Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K max settings with ray tracing enabled got an average of 65 FPS, and then turning ray tracing off bumped it up about 40 FPS. Forza Horizon 5 4K max settings was an average of 105 FPS. Adobe Premiere Pro render times for a 1080p video was 2 minutes and 15 seconds for a 10-minute video. And then for a 4K 10-minute video, that was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Now keep in mind that real-world performance is going to vary depending on the specific applications you end up using and then the other parts that you end up using as well, because you do need to keep in mind that, as with any gaming computer or any computer in general, all of the parts are going to be working together. So just make sure that you do your research before building an entire computer and then being let down from benchmarks that you ended up seeing from other people, because you do need to pair, you know, like lower end stuff with lower end stuff, mid-tier stuff with mid-tier stuff, higher tier stuff with higher tier stuff. You can't just throw in a 3080 or a 4080 or whenever the 5080 or 5090, 4090, 30, whenever those come out, you can't just like throw that in a 10-year-old computer and expect to get the performance that you're seeing from other people. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Forgot to say to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment.
I hate saying it just as much as you probably hate me saying it, but if I do not say it, like 1% of you will actually do it.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff.